Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing the GTX 750 Ti in PUBG Season 5, and we are running the Ryzen 7 3700X and 16 gigs of RAM, of course, overkill specs for the GTX 750 Ti, but an i5 2400 and 8 gigabytes of RAM in dual channel should do the job just fine without bottlenecking the 750 Ti, of course. And as you can see here, the GPU is overclocked, plus 150 on the core, plus 300 on the memory. This is like a stock version of the card as well. So it runs at pretty low clock speeds out of the box, and as you can see here under full load, it actually runs at 1326 megahertz with these overclock settings applied. So if you have a factory overclocked version of the 750 Ti, you guys should be able to achieve like higher clock speeds than this, even if you don't overclock your card like out of the box, you know. So yeah, we're gonna be testing this one out at 1080p, 900p, and 720p, very low, medium, and high settings. So yeah, 3 settings presets over here at 3 resolution. So this is gonna be a big one probably. Let's start this one out. Erangel first person. Oh my god, look at these textures, guys. Jesus Christ, this always impresses me. So as always, we are in the plane and we're gonna be dropping in our favorite city, Pochinki here, and let's drop in this little house, then go to the church. That's our like mini benchmark run over here. And by the way, I haven't started the benchmark thing yet, the 1% lows and average FPS, because well, there's a little bit of stuttering every time you jump from the plane, and that doesn't really translate in your gameplay experience down there when you're actually playing the game and not dropping from the sky and not doing anything, because well, yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, so we're in place now. Let's start our benchmark run here. As you can see, we got averages and 1% lows in the screen in the OSD, and let's go. Let's take a little walk here through Pochinki. And well, so far so good, guys. We're actually getting like around 60 FPS. The average is probably gonna drop from 60 FPS in a little bit when we reach the church there, but yes, so far so good. We're in the 70s now. This is a very playable experience, guys. If you guys want to play this game with the GTX 750 Ti and have a 1080p monitor, just play on very low settings. You'll have a blast running the game at these settings, and yeah, it's perfectly playable. Back when the game launched, I actually used to play this on a GTX 1060, and I got like 40 FPS because of the huge CPU bottleneck, because the game wasn't really optimized. But of course now, after several updates in like 3 years, the game is finally well optimized, at least in the CPU side of things, and we are seeing just below 60 FPS even looking at the entire city, 57 to 58 FPS looking at the entire city of Pochinki. This is like pretty much our minimum FPS that we're gonna get in this benchmark run, so it's very good to see that at 1080p this game is very playable here with the GTX 750 Ti. So if you have that 1080p 60Hz monitor and want to play this game or buy this game for like $10, for example, in the Christmas sale, you can do so. The game is completely playable here, and even if you want a solid 60 plus FPS all of the time, you can actually drop your resolution, as we're about to see, and get those sweet 60 plus FPS all of the time. So as you can see, our average didn't actually drop from 60 as I was expecting it to, because well, that really demanding area didn't really show its demandingness upon the almighty GTX 750 Ti, because well, let's be frank here, this card released back in 2014, so it's a 5-year-old card. It was entry level when it launched, so yeah, the X50 Ti SKUs are entry level, and it's still hanging in there. As you can see, really good performance coming out of this card. I actually wasn't really expecting to see 65 FPS average with 53 1% lows, so this is really good performance, guys. Completely playable. So as you can see here, this is the medium settings preset. I'm not gonna change any individual setting over here. Of course, dropping the shadows will give you a little bit of an FPS boost. That's a quite demanding option there. And let's start our counting system here. Let's go. Okay, so 45 FPS, we dropped like 15 to 20 FPS. That's not too bad, you know, the game looks a lot better now, I can tell, with the shadows, ambient occlusion, reflections, the lightning also looks a little bit better. There in the weapon, you can see the reflections and the lightning, pretty much a lot better than very low settings. So far so good, we're in the 50s right now. Of course, this is the lowest demanding part here of my benchmark run. Looking at there, yeah, 40s. You know what? This is actually playable. You can still play the game like this. As I mentioned before, when the game came out, I ran it with the GTX 1060 and I was playing this game at 40 FPS, and that was probably an average of 40 FPS. I was actually getting drops to the 20s sometimes, mid-20s, like especially here, which was a very demanding area, but it's not anymore because the game got optimized. Yeah, it was really demanding for the CPU, and well, people just learn to live with it, you know, learn to live with the low FPS. By the way, we're getting like low 40s over here looking at the entire city. That's pretty damn good. Impressive results here coming from the GTX 750 Ti, guys. And as I was saying, I, for example, don't really like to drop from 60 FPS while gaming, you know, but the game was fun back then. I don't feel like the game is too much fun right now because it's not a new thing. Back then it was a new thing. I got like 600 hours into this game, of course playing with my friends, which is a lot more fun than playing alone here. But yeah, you know what, it's a good experience here with the 750 Ti, and it was a good experience even at 40 FPS with the GTX 1060. And despite me not being really used to like 40 to 50 FPS averages, you can definitely play like this. You can definitely get used to it. I did get used to it, so yeah, okay, that tells you something, right? Alright, so 45 FPS average at medium settings, 38 1% lows. This is a very strong performance coming from the GTX 750 Ti, and it's probably gonna be a little bit worse now because the red zone is here, and I'm probably just gonna hide myself a little bit. Alright, the beautiful explosions, look at that, that's amazing. We're into the 30s now, and high 30s or mid 30s, so that's not bad at all. And it now sounds a lot better than before. I don't really remember how it did sound before, but yep, you know, I just remember hearing these sounds and being like, oh my god, what have they done to the game? This is amazing. Alright, let's start our benchmark run over here. 34 FPS, looking at this city of Pochinki from here, so not bad, you know, if you are after a 30 FPS experience, because I know that some of you are actually able to play with 30 FPS and have fun doing so. Yeah, if you are after that experience, the high settings over here at 1080p looks awesome. Looks a lot better than low settings or very low settings. It does have a noticeable visual fidelity increase compared to medium settings at 1080p here. As you can see, the lightning looks a lot better as well. The shadows, yeah, the textures of course look a lot better than medium settings and very low settings. Very low settings textures were pretty bad, as you could see in the waiting screen or the lobby screen, whatever it was. So far so good, guys. We're actually averaging in the upper 30s. Looking at the entire city, we see 35, 34 FPS, so the mid 30s. It shouldn't really drop from 30 FPS. We've also seen all of those explosions and it didn't really drop from 30 FPS as well. This is very, very good to see, guys. The 750 Ti, I was really not expecting this kind of performance coming out from this card, so I'm a little bit impressed, I'm not gonna lie. And even our 1% lows, guys, are pretty damn respectable at 30 FPS, so you shouldn't really be concerned about getting drops below 30 FPS here in PUBG with the 750 Ti at high settings. Alright guys, so we're back here, 900p, as you can see, very low settings across the board. Everything is applied, as you can see by the textures, you know, and the shadows being pretty bad as well. So let's do this. Let's start our little counting system here in the OSD, and we are seeing 70s now. Pretty good, you know, that's quite a big difference coming from 1080p, 80 FPS sometimes. Okay, I'm liking this, guys, I'm liking this. I just finished benchmarking Red Dead Redemption 2 in the 1050 Ti earlier today, and by dropping the resolution we got like 5 more FPS every time. Actually, the weirdest thing ever was benchmarking Red Dead Redemption 2 in the R9 280. If you guys go watch that video, you'll see that we get pretty close FPS, like at 1080p compared to 720p, which was really weird to see. I've never seen something like that. So yeah, you know, I'm glad to see a little bit of an improvement, of an actual improvement by dropping the resolution here in PUBG. But it's only on that card, the R9 280. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a weird game indeed. If you guys want to have 60 plus FPS all of the time, that's a little stutter though. Yeah, you can run the game at 900p and get those sweet 60 FPS, 60 plus all of the time. There's quite a few explosions going on there, but yeah, let's just ignore those, you know. If you have one of those 900p monitors that are 60 Hz, obviously I don't think there are high refresh rate 900p monitors out there, but yeah, you know, those 900p monitors are actually underrated. The 60 Hz ones, of course, they are pretty cheap and they still look good, you know. And if you are not doing multitasking and stuff like that, if you are only gaming with lower end hardware, I think that those are actually quite a good option to play games with, something like a 750 Ti or GTX 760, 950 as well, and they still look very good, of course. So yeah, it's a good option if you are looking for a monitor, of course, to go with your new build featuring something like a GTX 950 or 750 Ti. Of course, the 950 is like 50% faster than the 750 Ti, but again, we are on very low settings here with the 750 Ti. With the 950 would be getting these FPS probably like at medium or high settings using the same resolution. And well guys, let's just finish our benchmark thing. 78 FPS average, 60 FPS, 1% low. This is quite impressive actually. So yeah, okay, let's just go ahead and set it to medium settings. Apply that. Everything's applied, as you can see. Textures look a little bit better, as you saw it there. They just refreshed, so the settings were just applying. Oh my god, the circle. Oh no. I wasn't really paying attention to the circle. Well, we're just gonna roll with it. I don't think the FPS dropped too much by getting into the circle or outside of the circle. Let's see. 53 versus 54. Okay, so expect one more FPS outside the circle. All right, here we go. Page up, which is the key that I use for this, and as you can see now, we're in the 50s. Obviously, we could see that before as well. Now at 900p medium settings, if you have that 60 Hz monitor, you're gonna be below that refresh rate, so it's not really a perfect experience here at medium settings. I will definitely prefer to play at very low settings with that smoothness, that 60 plus FPS smoothness all of the time. Of course, you can still reach 60 plus FPS here at these settings, but yeah, it's not too often. The game looks a lot better, of course, so if you don't mind the drops to 50 FPS and 40s maybe sometimes, just go ahead and play like this. Medium settings looks great on the 900p monitor especially. And well, as you can see, looking at the entire city, we are in the high 40s, almost touching 50 FPS around here, so that's not bad at all. Let's just go around here a little bit. Oh my god, almost dropped there. And that's where the GTX 950 actually comes into play, because as you can see, the 750 Ti isn't really a medium settings card. Even at 900p, we're still in the 50s, you know. I'd be glad to see, for example, 60 plus FPS coming out from the 750 Ti at this resolution using medium settings, but that's just not gonna happen for the time being. Maybe with some further optimizations, not really sure. But yeah, for now, we just gotta content with very low settings, or maybe medium settings at 720p. Medium settings at 720p should be able to put us above 60 FPS. Not really sure if at all times, but yeah, 60 FPS average at least should be very possible at 720p medium settings. So okay, let's just stop that. We're almost dying here. 55 FPS average, 1% low of 46. Look at that. That ragdoll, amazing. Alright guys, we're dropping now. We're at high settings. I'm gonna show you that once we land. And okay, Okay, here we go. Alright, 900p, high settings as you can see over here. Let's go try to find some weapons here in this house. Okay, here we are back in our little spot. Let's start our counting here. 40 something FPS so far here on high settings. Not bad at all, you know, but of course this is not 1080p. I would like to see these kind of performance actually coming out from the 750 Ti at 1080p, but of course 30 plus FPS at 1080p is no slouch as well, so I'm happy to see that as well. I just wish we could get a little bit better performance out of a 750 Ti in 2019, but you know, the card is legendary, but it has its limits, and I think its limits are actually very low settings for those of you that are interested in this card. And very low settings, don't get me wrong, are actually better to play this game. You get a little bit better visibility as well. Alright, looking at, oh my god, there's one very close to us, but okay. Okay guys, so 44 FPS over here, as you can see, looking at the entire city of Pochinki. That's not bad at all. We're at high settings, remember that, you know. So we're even touching the 50s sometimes at high settings, 900p. So if you want a 40 plus FPS experience, I guess our 1% lows are actually at 39. If you want that experience, 900p, high settings, yep, should be fine. You should get used to play like this, you know. Should be able to get a decent gaming experience out of this one like this. The game looks gorgeous, of course. Well, gorgeous in PUBG's terms, because, well, very low settings really does look bad, and high setting compared to that looks gorgeous, I guess. Oh boy, okay, so that's the end of it. Alright, so we did 49 FPS average, 39 FPS 1% lows. Alright, 720p, very low settings across the board, of course. Okay, so here we go, 720p, very low settings. Let's start our benchmark run here. As you can see, we're touching the 100 sometimes. So if you have a 144Hz monitor, you know, if you are a CSGO player and have a high refresh rate monitor, or like a Dota 2 player, League of Legends, not really sure, but yeah. Oh boy, can we get that one? It's been so long since I've gotten a kill in PUBG, guys. Nope, that's not gonna happen. The barrel is not very good here for long distances. Let's just keep moving. Okay, just talk about the FPS, Crisp. Nothing's gonna happen if you talk about the FPS. Alright, so we're getting 100 and something FPS. Average is around 100 right now. 1% lows are in the 70s, so this is definitely a very smooth experience if you have one of those high refresh rate monitors that we were just talking about. And yeah, if you are a CSGO player, that makes sense. Of course, it doesn't really make sense to buy a 144Hz monitor for a GTX 750 Ti if you don't play CSGO. I think that game is probably one of the few ones that will get high FPS at like low settings and low resolution. You know the drill. You know, CSGO not very demanding. So yeah, it runs on everything and it runs at like 200 FPS with a 750 Ti. Oh my god, there's one really close to us, guys. We're seeing around 80 FPS looking at the entire city, by the way. Okay, so where's the guy though? No. Okay, so he was just right at my left. God damn it. Okay guys, we're back here again, just where we left it. We're getting like around 80 FPS. Yeah, pretty much the same as before, obviously. So yeah, our average so far has been around 100 FPS, 1% lows around 70. Not bad at all, you know. Oh boy, there's too many people now in Pochinki. Should we grab that car and go? Yep, I'm just gonna do that. I don't really care. Let's go, guys. So 100 FPS average, that's pretty good. If you have a high refresh rate monitor, you will benefit from getting like 100 FPS as opposed to 60, for example. Oh boy, and you will feel that smoothness. Jesus Christ, of course this was gonna happen, guys. It's not only in Red Dead Redemption. Yes guys, in Red Dead Redemption I managed to get my horse killed sometimes with crashes. Okay, so we're back here. No, please. Okay, no, have mercy on me. Oh my god, are you kidding me? I only have a pistol. How am I gonna do this, guys? You know what? I just paused my things, you know, 98 FPS average, 67, 1% lows. I'm just gonna go. What the heck am I doing? I'm just gonna go ahead and put it at medium settings right now, okay? because we might not be able to do this, guys. Let's just drink all of our energy drinks, I guess. Can we do this? Can we manage to get out of this alive? Oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna look at it, you know? Just don't look at him. Alright, guys, let's start our counting system over here. 75 FPS so far. Very good. Okay, so... Oh, no! Come on, why? Why did you stay there? Alright, friends, we are back here in our little spot. 720p, medium settings across the board. Let's start this thing for... I don't even know, guys. I've just... Oh, there's a helmet there. Okay, I don't care. We got our pumpkin to protect us, by the way, okay? So we don't really need no helmets. So let's see how many FPS we can get. So far, so good. We're in the 70s. Our 1% low is in the high 50s, so it's probably not going to be dropping from 60 FPS too much. 720p, medium settings. If you have a 768p monitor, that's 1366 by 768. Yeah, those monitors don't look really good, you know. I have a few of them. Actually, I only have one of them right now. I sold the other one in a PC that I made. But yeah, guys, if you have one of those monitors, actually upgrading to a 900p monitor is a hell of a deal, you know. 900p monitors are pretty cheap nowadays. You can grab one for what, 60 bucks, 70 bucks new, and used they are even cheaper, of course, like 30-40 bucks. By the way, as you can see, we're seeing 65 FPS looking at the entire city of Pochinki. That's not bad at all. That means that we're probably gonna get 60 plus FPS here at these settings, medium settings, 720p. So yeah, if you do have one of those monitors and if you are happy with it, of course, just play on your native resolution. I think the game should still look better than in my monitor, which is 1440p and 27 inches. But yeah, you know, it's not really a crisp image coming out from those monitors. I don't think the PPI is too good in those. And yeah, things look blurry or pixelated, at least, even on the desktop. So yeah, I don't really recommend those. And of course, for productivity and multitasking and stuff like that, you can barely fit two windows side by side. Come on. Oh my god. Alright, guys, we're back here again for like the 10th time or something like that. High settings at 720p this time around. Okay, let's start our counting system over here. And we are getting 50 something FPS. Not bad. We're touching the 60s sometimes. Of course, it's 720p, so things don't look too good. But you know what? At least it's 60 FPS. You can feel that smoothness, you know? If you want graphical fidelity and good FPS or decent FPS, well, high settings at 720p so far, so good. But of course, I will probably play at 900p medium settings, to be honest. Or, oh no, maybe not. 900p medium settings actually gave us like 50 to 60 FPS, I think. Yeah, you know what? 720p at high settings is actually performing better than 900p at medium, so yeah. Okay, so finally we got good weapons. Like, I think I did have good weapons last time around, and that didn't go pretty well, did it? So guys, okay, let's just do our little thumbnail over here. Okay, fantastic stuff here, guys. I'm not sure if this is a good thumbnail, guys, but you know what? We're seeing 55 FPS looking at the entire city here of Pochinki. Not bad performance coming from a 750 Ti. Of course, this is high settings, remember that. It's pretty demanding, but yeah, we're at 720p, pretty low resolution. Things look still pretty decent, okay, not too bad. I could play like this, to be honest, and at medium settings as well. Of course, the anti-aliasing here on high looks a little bit better and less mushy. You know, at medium settings, everything looked a little bit too blurry for my taste, but here it's kind of getting a little bit better, you know, in the okay-ish zone, almost. It's not really good, it's still blurry, but yeah, you know, I would live with it. Yeah, if you want that visual fidelity, just play like this, I guess. Not too bad. And we're still above 60 FPS average, which is good to see, of course. 62 FPS average, 47, 1% low, so it will drop from 60, obviously. Alright guys, so I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Again, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Bye-bye.